Hello, Jamaica. This is Andre Stevens, and you are tuned in to the Partner Draw TV.
Him out of order, him very out of order. I go send letter to the woman.
It was pathetic.
Lady who in America ever boost, so not only Donald Trump.
Night, Andre.
Yes, just get to the point.
First time caller.
Just get to the point, my darling. Do you think that my agenda is to tear down the PNP?
No.
It's the talk of the things, my love.
I don't have a thing with what I'm
The voice of reason, the voice for the voiceless. Like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. I am yours truly, Andre Stevens.
All right. Partner draw. Partner draw. Andre. Set the rat trap. Set the rat trap. Set the rat trap. In the two for the rat them. Set the rat trap. Set the rat trap. Set the rat trap. Set the rat trap. In the two for the rat them. Set the rat trap. Set the rat trap. Set a rat trap in the parliament. Set a rat trap in the two foot rat them. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap in the 2 foot. Set a rat trap in a FLA. Set a rat trap in the 2 foot rat them. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap in the 2 foot rat them. Set a rat trap in the school. The one them where teeth to pick me them money. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap in the judiciary. With the one that will take money out of the table. Set a rat trap for the lawyer them. Set a rat trap. Take the people money and take them land title. And them not get no title. Hello? Set a rat trap. Partner draw. Partner draw. Andre. Hello? Me say we set a rat trap in the church for the one that we are TV offering. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap. We must catch them. Set a rat trap in the tax office. Set a rat trap in the 2 foot rat them. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap. Me say we set a rat trap. Andre. Oh my God, we are suffering in Jamaica with the corruption. Jesus Christ, you can't get them. Set a rat trap down on the wharf. Set a rat trap for the, what they call them? Set a rat trap down on the wharf, man. Yes? And set a rat trap in the airport. Hello? Hello, you know, say all here Jamaica bankrupt, but we don't know where the money go. Set a rat trap, set a rat trap. Set a rat trap, with the 2 for the rat them. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap in the entertainment. Hello? Set a rat trap in the entertainment. Set a rat trap. Let me say, set a rat trap for those who are do contract killing. We must catch them in America, in England, and in Canada. Set a rat trap to the one them in Jamaica. With the 2 foot rat them. Set a rat trap. Hello? Set a rat trap. We must catch them. Tear off the cover and expose them. Set a rat trap. Alright, sir. Set a rat trap. Must catch them.
What's up, Bangarang? What's up, Bangarang?
A robot a push mount. Never look at a push mount. A robot a push mount. So now we are robot a push mount. A robot a push mount. The robot a push mount. Pull it. no compromise, but when I preach you, we touch every category. And even if you fall in the category, you want to make some for your business. Me no business. Righteousness exalting nation. No butter apple smoke. Y'all no butter apple smoke. Y'all no butter apple smoke. No butter apple smoke. Who's remind you? Who's require? They're not trying to swap and bend over. The husband should have won. Bend over, bend over.
Greetings, 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 Jamaica. Greetings to those on YouTube, those on TikTok, those on Facebook. Greetings to the most talked about program each night in Jamaica. You're definitely on the Padnadraw TV, where we discuss the issues at hand. Cost it what it will. The issues that many people feel very uncomfortable discussing, the issues of national importance, the issues of financial irregularities, the issues regarding many groups, many sectors, teachers, doctors, nurses, firefighters, security guards, the issues related to good governance, the practices of accountability, the practices of transparency, and the practices of equity. Jamaica, we speak on the issues of social morality, the issues surrounding injustice for women, children, and men. That is the program that keeps Jamaica going, the program that makes many of them very bad men. The program that keeps some of these media houses, Jamaica, very uncomfortable. Very, very uncomfortable. But one thing for sure, Jamaica, Padnadraw TV is here to stay. They have to size up, move up, get into understanding Jamaica. So Jamaica, greetings to you all. Greetings to you all, near and far. Greetings to you all, near and far. My name is Andre Stevens. On behalf of myself, my team, and my producer, welcome, welcome, welcome. Jamaica, what are they going to do when Padnadraw TV extends to going on the stock market? But Jamaica, there is one thing that I'm not going to be, is biased. And when a man or a woman does good, I'm going to call it out for what it is. Even when they speak bad of me, I'm still going to say commendations to them. Jamaica, a citizen of Jamaica, and by extension, the diaspora, has brought a judicial review to look into the performance of the Commissioner of Police and to say whether the Commissioner of Police should continue or not. So I'm going to say to Mr. Wayne Lonesome and to the team that has brought the judicial review to the Supreme Court, commendations to you, Wayne Lonesome, and I wish you all the best in your pursuit for justice for Jamaica. Jamaica, I know we have had our differences with Mr. Wayne Lonesome on this platform, but I stand resolute. When you're doing something great for Jamaica, when you're standing against the injustices in Jamaica, when you are aiming to make Jamaica better, I am going to stand with you on principle. So all I'm saying to Jamaica and to Mr. Wayne Brown, otherwise known as Wayne Lonesome, commendations to you. Partner Draw TV and by extension Andre Stevens support the move to challenge the competencies of the Commissioner of Police. Indeed, Jamaica, the diaspora has spoken. Indeed, Jamaica, over 6,600 members of the diaspora has spoken. Will Jamaica speak? Tonight I'm going to ask, who is going to bring the judicial review against the Prime Minister of this land? If Wayne Lonesome could do it for the Commissioner of Police, who will bring Jamaica? Who will bring the judicial review to sacking the Prime Minister of Jamaica? Wouldn't you want Andrew Holness to be sacked, Jamaica? Wouldn't you want Andre, not me, because you can't sack me because I do nothing wrong. Wouldn't you want Jamaica for Andrew Holness to be sacked? So I'm going to say to one of you tonight, to the many thousands listening tonight, who will be brave as a Wayne Lonesome and the 600 members of the diaspora to bring a class action against this government? Which one of you will be that brave enough to bring a class action for a judicial review on this government? And I am saying tonight, Jamaica, you have some media houses in this country who are very biased. You have some media houses in this country who are so biased that no matter what, Jamaica, they cannot see the truth, know the truth, and do what? You know what? Let me see something. Mighty God. Jamaica, YouTube, come over to my YouTube channel. Jamaica, my guest is running a bit impatient. Therefore, I have to carry my guest now. All of you on YouTube, all of you on TikTok, can you come over to my YouTube, please? My guest is running impatient because Jamaica is very, very hot tonight. Jamaica, before I start. So all who is on TikTok, please to run over to my YouTube channel. Please to run over to my YouTube channel. Please to run over to my YouTube channel. Thank you. All right, Jamaica. My guest is saying that he has a myriad of things to do tonight, so he has to start now. Therefore, Jamaica, before I start, I have to play something for you. Did you see the crisis in... Did you see the crisis in Halfway Tree today? But I want you all to listen to what the firefighter had to say. I have to make you all listen to what the firefighter had to say. It's very important, Jamaica, that you all listen to what the firefighter had to say. And then I will bring in the king of mix-up, the great king of radio, to come and join this discussion tonight.
Mobile device not battery 5.
Thank you all for the super chat bless ups tonight. because tonight is going to be a hot, hot night. But let me play this first. I have to play this first, Jamaica. If I don't play this first, today,
Battery 5. Connected to Galaxy Note 10.
I have to play this first, Jamaica. I want you to listen to the firefighter.
Good morning. Dear
One, better welfare. Two, 6 other members who were suspended almost a year just to voice them concern. Imagine that. Just to voice a concern about safety. 6 other members who are unjustly suspended. They are still receiving half pay from the public. So the public is being sharp with your money. The really thing that is there. There's not one hour machine out there. And said here, the entire parish doesn't have a machine can scan people in. The public money has been wasted. Yes. There is not one working item to which the brigade can cut. No money has gone down. Yes. So I have contents been more. You have like 3 call centers. You have never got your party that work a call center. When I want to next week, so don't forget, we get a fire at call center. Your sister will perish. I've got 19 years. I have worked on this way. I have got fire at children. Go to fire at children from that. I'm too young to get young. We don't memory shall bring ever. We pull them out, let us catch. But see, small election. Yes. There is not one ambulance. Yes. So when you crash on, you don't buy a million crash. There is no ambulance. What do we do? We can only take them out of the car or whatever. Now pick up. Yes, yes. Last taxi lady from pick up. I tried to taxi along. She said she couldn't feel anything to her. You know that's spinal injury. Yes. You deserve an ambulance to take you. How much you running up? What do you get wrong? You get wrong, right? You got one ambulance to take members of the public.
Jamaica, I played that in relation to the firefighter. Jamaica wanted to make a point that he's very concerned about the state and the well-being of our hospitals. He's very concerned about the conditions that firefighters have to be working under. And when he speaks out, he's a victim that has been suspended for over 8 months. And there are 6 others who are on indefinite suspensions, Jamaica. But tonight, it's not my duty to speak about this issue. Welcome to the platform, Dr. Kingsley Ragashanti Stewart. Mighty God.
Mighty God what?
Why is Ragashanti on Partner Draw TV?
I trouble that now, don't it?
Where is the tambourine?
You know, I don't have it here with me, but it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's still the signature prop for me, you know.
The tambourine, but I have my turban.
Yeah, the turban. No, Andre, let me tell you something. That's you know, in this business, the more you do well is the more you have with naysayers. That's just part of the game. We all know that. And I have to say, I want big up for celebrate our revival people.
Yes.
And anybody who listen to Raga Shanti all along, you know, me always tell them, so my mother was a revivalist, proudly so. And you know, and I lived in a revival yard for a while, Mount Hopewell Church of Christ of the Redeemer in Jerusalem while I was going to Calabar. And unfortunately, revivalism in Jamaica has suffered, you know, some attacks and things like that that are unjustified. And we're still in a post-colonial setting where people celebrate the traditional European denomination them and ridicule our revival, you know, our more indigenous religious orders and faiths and so forth, because of the poison of the same colonialism that, you know, before that, as you know, had vilified anything. The closer it is to Africa, the worse it is, and the closer it is to Europe, the better it is. And, you know, unfortunately, our so-called learned people of the clergy, they too have actively participated in that discrimination, you know, because when you talk about the Jamaica Council of Churches or whatever the term is, and they don't include those indigenous religions that, you know, a great many Jamaicans are actively involved in. So big up, you know, because I see I embrace your thing.
So, Raga, I have never spoken to you.
I would be proud of you.
Uncle, father, I must call you Father Raga, Grandfather Raga, because it's one of them, you know, I couldn't be uncle, because them say use my father. So, Father Raga, me and you never talk it, so oh, you know, so me I go revival church, you spy for me.
Well, yes, actively so, actively so.
Brother, you are spy for your picnic at Andrea Revival Church?
No, me see man, and you know, me check out the video them and thing, and you know, unlike others who watch and listen and then act like them not do it, me will tell you, say, me watch and listen. I must say though, Andrew, there was a time when he did attack up with things and I'm like, Jesus, God, somebody can't tell him to chill a little bit, me no want to go call him and go beat him and batter him and do him all kind of something. Cause boy, you did I bring the fire what the end, man. Did I bring the fire what the end, Papa?
But I'm going to ask you this though.
Yes.
You have been a victim of censorship in Jamaica.
Indeed.
At one point, I remember the Broadcasting Commission annexed you off radio, I believe, and possibly TV in Jamaica. How did you survive that?
Okay. There's a misconception with that a great many people are ignorant about. The Broadcasting Commission is not constitutionally empowered to remove anybody from radio. The Broadcasting Commission can rescind the license of a media house. So the Broadcasting Commission can say to a media house, which they're not supposed to do really, but they can say, you have a member of your team that has egregiously breached, you know, the rules of broadcast. And as such, we are contemplating removing your license.
Yes.
So that media house can in turn say, okay, we are going to remove the person. And then that will satisfy the Broadcasting Commission, perhaps. But the Broadcasting Commission is not constitutionally empowered. The Broadcasting Commission cannot fire anybody from a media house. Only the managers of the media house can do it. Secondly, the very last time that happened at Nationwide News Network.
Oh, you were at Nationwide?
Well, on man, and people no found don't know this, so it have a bus for Andre show.
What you say, Raga? Breaking news!
Yes, it have a bus.
Breaking news! We are breaking news! Our Raga time are going to break Nationwide tonight!
While I was at Nationwide, the Broadcasting Commission moved to Nationwide and tell them that some really nasty, egregious things were said on my show.
And then pretty much, tell Nationwide that them have to remove me.
Oh.
When we check out the thing them now and say, what am I talking about? And then we saw what the Broadcasting Commission produced to say this is what was said on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I immediately said, I am not aware of that happening because something must be wrong here. I then went to the person who was in charge of it, one Jermaine King, who is a consummate professional in what he does. When I tell you Jermaine is just really, really good in all those technical stuff. Yes. So I said, Jermaine, you need to check this because the Broadcasting Commission tell Nationwide, so them going to take away the license and shut down Nationwide.
Really?
Yeah, that's how it did there. And things, I said, but Jermaine, I don't know anything about this. Remember, I am not responsible for what they're referring to, the technical part of it, I just basically host the show. There wasn't even saying that is I say it. Them saying it's callers say it, and then, but I am facilitating the environment for callers to say. So what if sitting or whatever? But I'm like, but these things were cut out. All right. Jermaine go check it, the thing them now, and Jermaine say no. And Jermaine sure what the thing them was cut out. So right away now, I said, no, something wrong. At that time, I went to the deputy manager, was Liz Bennett, and then Cliff used to. And I said, no, them do something wrong. Cut long story short, what they did was the Broadcasting Commission had assigned one person to listen to my show for infraction, right? The person go listen to the show on the internet. What is going over the internet at that time was
different from what is on the
radio. So now, Broadcasting Commission now, they committed a very serious faux pas, French faux, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They committed a very, 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 very serious, mistake in terms of their operation. Remember, they are the regulator who, them regulate we when we make mistake and punish we.
Yeah.
And them end up now make a big mistake in that regard. When the Broadcasting Commission realized that they made the mistake, and it was this elaborate pantomime them put in place to punish Nationwide because of Ragashanti. At that time I said to Cliff Hughes, Cliff, we have them now, We have them now. You understand? We could take it to them because they really messed up, they screwed up. And
so what did Cliff Hughes do?
Poor me never know what it really are going, and this are the pricky part. Because when me say to Cliff, I noticed that Cliff wasn't,
So are you saying that your boss was a part of a system to get rid of Ragashanti?
No, well, I would not dare say yet. I'm just saying that I noticed that given what has occurred and given the egregious act that was committed against his station at that time and the position that he was in, I mean, on one level, I would also think that were I in management of a media house in Jamaica, and the regulatory body, in this case the Broadcasting Commission, made a terrible error against me, I am not so sure that I would want to either hammer them either, because if you're being strategic about this, it is in your best interest to facilitate a good relationship with a regulatory body. You don't want to knock them and then later on them get them, then them have you as them enemy and later on them come because of them have the angle and you have the blade. So on one level, I kind of reason and say, well, in his position as manager and thinking about the interests of the station and all employed and thing, and in the long term, whatever, that's probably why him never really go after them. But then later on now, later on now.
A couple things, Raga. You want me to get the tambourine for you?
No, man, well, I was made privy to certain arrangements and relationships and things that it was just so disappointing and thing, and I didn't, that thing that when I'm say, keep your friends closer, your enemies closer.
Closer. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let us just say there were some group of people who weren't particularly fond of what I was doing, and they have their alliances, and they have people in high places who they consult, and apparently meetings were held and whatever, and a process was put in place in order to remove me. And then at that time too, what had happened after they made their mistake, they doubled down because I realized the mistake when they make it.
Yeah.
So if them go leave me, they so now and make me go run with it and whatever. So what happened was they went to the then Minister of Information.
Who was that?
At that time it was Mr. Vaz. And then
Daryl Vaz?
Yes, and then I think the matter was also brought to the attention of the then PM.
Bruce Golding?
Yes. And let me put it this way.
Don't hold back in a Ragashan.
No, man, no. Hold on, I have to, no, let me put it this way. There were some concerns about my show and what had came out on my show, and some things were come out in my show that involved some people, and I was made aware of 3 particular mix-up with it bust on the show, and I did know that 2 of those mix-up involved 2 certain people, and
of a political party.
Well, yeah. And and at that time, let us just say the conclusion was, nah, man, we're not defending. We're not defending because so and so did bust out, which was different from when one different drama did bust and it did reach one different Minister of Information, which was the Honorable Babsy Grange, who was very fair in the middle, and it wasn't about her personal interests. She was very balanced, and she deliberated on the merits of the arguments on both sides of the matter. And when she was being pushed, to take some adverse steps against me, she, based on her analysis of the thing, she came up with, a solution where, in my opinion, it was fair and balanced, which was very different from what obtained before. But again, that is just Jamaica politics.
But Ragashanti, I'm going to ask you this question tonight.
Yes.
Did you feel a sense of betrayal from Cliff Hughes?
Oh, definitely so.
Did you repeat that? You felt a sense of betrayal from Cliff Hughes?
I am categorically stating that yes, I did. And yeah, and there's more to it. Me say that too, which I'm not going to say right now. And
so, Ragashanti.
Hold on. Cliff Hughes is going to tell you that, I was the first person to put Ragashanti on air when he came back and I heard his story and things, which is true. But later on, there's some people who misunderstood what I was doing.
Yes.
And they misunderstood certain things about me. And they made it their, they made it like their point of duty. They said, them going to get me off a radio no matter what. And, some other things that unfolded and they didn't like it. And like Women's Media Watch, I did an ad with Mandingo and with Carlene, with Mandingo. And from then, like Women's Media Watch, they essentially despise me. And then when I joke about certain things and whatever that they would consider sexist or, discriminatory against women based on their so-called educated understanding of stuff, which very often was incorrect. in terms of really understanding the nuances of Jamaican culture and things, which I respectfully submit I am most qualified to speak on as an
Yeah, as an
anthropologist, social
anthropologist.
scientist, who as I'm focused on that area. And not only that, somebody from the very community where them feel them brilliance, them know about other community, born and grow get. So enough of the things them where them hear, them not understand it. Them not understand it. You know, Andrew, what do you may talk to somebody and them are saying, it is very stupid of Jamaicans to, when them are cursed, to say, suck your mother, and da 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 da. And I said, well, I don't use that term, you know.
Yes.
But as somebody from that background, I can tell you that you have people, Jamaicans, who misunderstand that term and them think because them bright and them this and that and whatever. And I said, we have to understand the institution of motherhood is just sacred in the African diaspora, no exception. And the idea is that if you really want to hurt somebody, then you cross one of the most sacred lines, which is you disrespect their mother. I mean, the American version of it is doesn't. Your mama's so fat that blah, 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 whatever it is. And there's all the stories behind it where it's supposed to, you know, engineer to steal you, to take insults and not lose it, because if you lose it, you're going dead if you were under slavery, all kinds of stuff. But anyway, what
I really want to push back a little. I really want to push back a little.
No, well, I just want to say, so I said to the person that term as used by Jamaicans, no Jamaican tells somebody go suck your mother and they're thinking literally that you must go suck. It's not that. It's equivalent to like, to hell with you, like F you, like, you know, universally people say F you. They don't literally mean you must go and engage with yourself in whatever. They're saying, oh, you say you're going to punch me in my face. You could never do that. F you, right? It doesn't literally mean that, you know? So I was explaining that to the person who is not Jamaican. And they were like, oh, I always thought they meant it literally. And I'm like, no, they don't know. It's not like that. I said, you have your version of it right here in America. You know, when you say screw you or you say F you don't literally mean that. And at that point, it was like, oh, you're right. I just mean like, you know, I don't care, leave me alone or go away or what. And I'm like, but it's, you know, Jamaicans don't think literally like that. If they say, I'm just using that as a point to say there is so much there that people don't understand. And we learn in my discipline that things can be literal and symbolic. Yes. They can be actual and representational. And very often, you know, you have these people who think them know get up. Because this is my issue. That's why I'm kind of like when you, because when I tell me to think it up on one side, you know, I keep it real with you, you know.
So and you thought at one point I was more sympathetic to the PNP?
No, me take it up on one side. Let me just say one side. And then I'm going to listen to you several times.
Explain one side. Just speak. You are just the true, the king of talk, no man. Nobody talking enough parables like that, hello.
Andrew, I would tell you straight without any apology also. I am a little bit more tempered than before. And that is by choice. You know, I'm comfortable with it. I still speak frankly, but perhaps not with the same flair as before, right? But you get older, you have three, you know, and all these things or whatever. Me kind of bouncy thing a little different. And that is all right. But me just say me the thing say, you know, but you take it to them. You take it to both sides when time them go wrong. You take it to both sides. And that is what
Jamaica, Raga. Jamaica no longer has gatekeepers in civil society, private sector, that when injustices are met upon Jamaicans, they'll speak out against it. Right. So I have become the new gatekeeper for Jamaica. I might be unpopular in some of the things that I say, but here is the truth.
Right.
I don't hate the Jamaica Labour Party. I don't hate the People's National Party.
Right.
I dislike things the Prime Minister does in this country, but I don't hate him. I dislike the way in which Mark Golding leads. but I don't hate him, because the truth and in fact, I believe Mark Golding possesses great abilities to be an excellent prime minister, because his track record speaks to one that is clean. And I believe if his hands are clean, his governance equally would be clean. That's my argument on that basis. But when me I say, Raga, with all that is happening in Jamaica, we are hearing, oh, Jamaica is recovering. Oh, the economy is doing well. But Raga, you talk to people from Jamaica on a day-to-day basis. Are people feeling that impact of an economy doing well? Are people saying to you, Raga, that boy Jamaica going good? What is the reality that you are hearing? You talk to the people daily. What are the people saying to you, Raga?
Well, it's the status quo is maintained. It's the same people who were poor before are still poor now. And when I could just keep it real. Each party has a set of people who support it, right?
Yeah.
And I tell people all the while that elections is not about healthcare or education or anything to do with that. Those things are secondary stuff. Election is about getting power, keeping power, and deciding who get contracts, which means dispensing money and wealth for others, right? The people who are attracted to the people who go into politics, most people who go into politics don't have money. Mark Golding is an exception. Because you know, hearing Bunting and Golding, they make for their money. So you never have no problem with money. But most people who go into politics, them don't have money.
Like the Prime Minister, you could talk it, Raga. The Prime Minister going into politics.
Most people who go into politics, them don't have money. But you have people in the private sector who have money. And their thing is about building wealth and, you know, generational wealth and support. So they support who they want to support. The idea is that when those people go into politics now, and they are marshalling the state's treasury, and is that part coming now with the contracting now?
Yes, the contract them.
Right. So is who get contract, who get this deal for this deal, construction and this or whatever, this and that and whatever. So the people in the private sector need the people in the government. And the people in the government need the people in the private sector. So what that resulting, you know, is that when a party is in the opposition, any party, either the PNP or the JLP, when they're in the opposition, they know exactly what is right for Jamaica. And it sounds good. I always say, if the party that was in opposition, you know, around the country, based on what them said, then the country would be all right. It's when they get to the power, the game change, right? And then they take place. And then the one who was in power and gone in the opposition now them start say the right. All right, look for what happened what they and let me just say this. You see that thing that come out where say the Prime Minister committed an infraction while he was the Minister of Education, right?
Oh yes.
With that something there. And them say the Integrity Commission basically has said the Prime Minister, you know, them are recommend him for some sort of punitive method, which is, I've never heard of that happening to a Prime Minister in another country. You understand what I'm saying? So that is big. So when I hear about it now, I say, but what I don't know, this thing is about 13 years ago or something like so or whatever. 17 years ago. So this was my reasoning. And one possibility is that somebody is bringing up this against the Prime Minister, good old bloodletting politics, and it is unwarranted. The other possibility is that it was not dealt with the way it should have been dealt with. Yeah. And then they might bring it out now, right? So then we hear say the matter was resolved already and the Prime Minister was absolved of any wrongdoing. Then another body come out and say the Prime Minister was not absolved of any wrongdoing on this particular matter. From my standpoint, from somebody who have an issue with people in Jamaica who lock up somebody when them jump the fence and pick a fruit off one tree at King's house.
Yes.
Who, when the young lady at Judicial go give the man the thing, what they and whatever. Everybody and them woman run out and them are the savior of Jamaica. Everybody more loud and everybody brave to defend Jamaica and all these companies stand up and whatever and thing. Them do them something all the while.
Yeah.
When people with weak fence do certain things, them very clear in them utterances and them very precise and them are the superhero for defend Jamaica. When the other people which is this pattern in Jamaica, when the big shot and the powerful people and whether PNP, JLP or private sector do anything or whatever, it's all this obfuscation, all this this game that's played, this little dance that play where nothing is precise, things get foggy, people get partisan in a certain way where they're not objective and things like that. And Jamaican people fall feet all the time. You understand what I say? So what I say?
True.
If the Prime Minister was absolved, right?
Yes.
And somebody go bring up this. And that is serious. Yes, I may agree with it with the Minister of Justice head should rule. But come out and tell it to the people, right? If the Prime Minister wasn't absolved,
yes,
right? And it come out now, then even if it's some 17 years ago, bring me, when me did that soul, me not go on a father. And me end up with that got blue for father figure when me a pick. It was a youth named Weather and get shot up now and dead. And Weather introduced me to shatter man them in our community and whatever and things like that. The first time me wall gun and Weather make me wall gun. You understand? Let me tell you something. You see the man them in the street and all them something they whatever. Them observe them something, Them observe them something and we say these big shot people, they're never held accountable for what them do. But them are living at the biggest house, them get rich and whatever, them play all these games and whatever. The man them know say them not have them skin complexion, that them not have them last name, that them not have them so-called this and that, them not in or whatever. So but them want that too, because that is the standard when them see the man them who are do the white collar hustling. And that them things that them get
so
to the
what
man.
You're saying,
right?
What you're saying, Ragashanti?
They really contribute to the crime and all them things that we are going on in Jamaica. The corruption.
So the social injustice is your problem.
Exactly. And I get the people always I get blamed for Jamaica's problem when them people are up this one thing, them are the worst. Then we get the people. You tell me now, one little boy him a graduate one day and him say, big up on the blood clots, everybody will lose their mind. This is what the country coming to, and blah blah blah, whatever. You tell me now. That boy saying that thing there right there. Is that more important than somebody who a thief money from the country's treasury? Which one is more important?
And a thief out SSL money and all, none of them can get locked up.
Look for SSL. And me can't get the fullness side. But all me get in is that somebody alright, you notice say how much government institution have money in a SSL, you know that whatever.
Oh Lord, Raga, don't talk about it.
Hold on. You notice that them people have money, you hear any sound from them say for them money touch.
According to them, they said that none of the government's funds in SSL, let's say all of the funds in SSL for government, they say it is safe. But me and you don't know if it is safe, Raga, because we don't have access to the accounts.
Well, I know. All right. And I'm not a PNP and a JP and a pick any side, All me I say is, we have a situation where the Prime Minister of the country
have money in the SSL.
Hold on, add an account there, right? So don't follow me if you say.
Yes, Raga, talking
the Prime Minister found reason to leave SSL, right? Which by itself is nothing wrong. People invest where they want to invest and take out the money and put it where they want and whatever. But apparently when the thieving did go on, the Prime Minister's money was there. If him account did there also, right? The Prime Minister removed himself from that, right? In law, them say it's not only what is, but how it look.
Yes.
Right? The Prime Minister issue a statement for it and things like that, whatever. Now we are in a position where the Prime Minister come out with a new traffic act and said discipline and this and that and the law and whatever. And people are all about this and that, about the traffic act, and some people are saying, no, but Jamaica have a problem with traffic or whatever. So there is this whole emphasis on law and order and discipline, and people must move right and things like that. But then on the other side, now we have the Prime Minister being accused with this thing here, whatever. The Prime Minister was in SSL and thing, him take out fee money and thing and whatever. You seeing and the other weak fence people them now, for them money gone, we have a situation where some get it, some dash it. Somebody did that, apparently somebody did that thief the money. And at least one other person say that somebody had thief the money. That person, it is reasoned, must have said, them have a thief money too, because if them thief money, the blame are going to go upon that person there.
Yes.
So that person that start thief money. Now the first person who had thief money, including in a UCN money, supposedly, that person says somebody else had thief money too.
So yes, wait. So rather, yes, I'm more than one thief there, SSL, big thief, little thief.
No, because my thing was like, somebody that said, wait, and I'm saying, let's just reason objectively. You can't say definitively, I never Gene alone are taking money if you don't have evidence to support it, right? That is what I was saying to someone. And the person say you need to talk to somebody else. And to me, you know, whatever, I say, yo, I don't want to chat to nobody, you know, because, you know, I don't want nobody come say them, you know, me say, them say, whatever. And then, but, you know, eventually we talk to a person and wait. Now, again, you know, I don't have definitive evidence of what was said to me was so, but it was a credible account, you know, that it is believable. It is not far-fetched to say, you know, it wasn't incredulous to the point where you're like, no. You know, it is too, you know, it is too ridiculous for me.
So the argument that you got, the reasoning you had was very sounded. It sounded very credible. It sounded very plausible.
No, but what I'm saying, at the end of the day, I don't know who the other 39 people were, if they're multi-billionaires or they're just middle-class people who invest their money or whatever, or people who fight hard to get where they want. But at the end of the day, in terms of how this money was siphoned off, bossy word, but thief, the person was quite selective who them a thief from. And it was clear them a thief from weak fence people. And leave other people.
In your analysis, there was a profiling of the clients that were robbed.
Precisely. And if we're not careful, it's just because you see it in the mix. But my issue with this is the way it went play out now again is them people who were targeted, the weak fence people, at the end of the day, they're not a priority. And that is my problem with Jamaica.
Oh, so your issue is all focus is on Bolt, but there's not much focus on the other 39.
No, I'm saying that because both it's only because you see and they make the thing still have a little bit of legs in terms of attention and whatever, and the world kind of watch or whatever and things like that.
That is true.
But take both out of the mix, for example. And
would we have an FBI in Jamaica? Would we have
them 39 people or whatever? Them again, you know, let's be careful because the matter has not been concluded yet, right? So we don't know what is what and things like that. But if it's the same Jamaica when me know, I know the games is already unfolding and who are protect who, you know, we need to know the country needs some kind of explanation now to say, or some apparatus must be put in place now to protect them people. All the year enough of them people that run up them mouth and whatever. My point, them don't care about poor people.
So are you saying the government don't care about poor people?
They don't.
So you say Andrew Wallace and Nigel Clark don't care for poor people?
No. You're not put word in my mouth. So I'm saying,
you say the government don't, but this is the head of government.
Hold on. I'm saying there is a system in place, regardless of which party win, whether PNP or JLP. And they would tell poor people what they need to tell poor people to get them vote. But when them go in there, poor people is like, oh, so I look a contract, you go paint the sidewalk, the sidewalk white. Weed out this and them give too much. But what the real wealth is, and what the real, in terms of resources and all that game they play and whatever, it not come down to the people,
Raga.
Me going a 3 jail at Jamaica. Kansas Spring jail, half a 3 jail, and Stonium jail. And all of them jail when me going on, and when me not in a jail, I'm going to look for my friend, them at jail and all them something there, whatever.
So where you going to jail to do, Raga?
Oh, you mean what me they go there for?
Yeah, why you go to the jails to do?
What you mean to do? You mean what I did to go into jail?
Oh, so you did do activities to reach them 3 jail there?
Okay, them not listen. When I was much younger, man, them when me a bad a road, man, and thing and whatever, man, and whatever, and I go on with thing.
So you was top shatter?
No, man, I no shatter thing, man. I was hustler, man. One night time, me thief one fire extinguisher and did a sell it. One next time, the first time, me the man a park pharmacy, I read one book. I mean, like a book so much, but say, yo, that book here, come with me, And me and the book, I walk out, I want man call me in my neck, say, before you know it, me down a Kansas Break Station. Them time them about 14. And them have me at the front car, them say me, I want to look up boy and whatever. When night come down, one policeman said to the next one, so what we are going to do with him? And one said, I don't know, him not for going at the cell, him too young. And the man said, oh, fling him in the cell, your business. And then fling me in the cell. And made it in there with a bunch of grand spend, man, who at 14 years old, me just assure you can't end up cool and certain way. Them beat me, them kick me in my throat, all kind of thing. Them tell me some of them ashtray. It's a bigger man, them for murder charge and all them there, Them give me cigarette, me for out for my skin and all them something there and all, whatever, and rare. All kind of things happening there. Me have to figure out how to survive. One brother did come in there, I think him the name Dayton or whatever. Them move to him and I try. Cause them say when you just go in your grub.
Yeah.
And grub to beat the other people, them and all them something that who run them cell 3 cell around there and we was cell 3. And we have to sing to them at night time, sing lullaby to them at night time.
Lullaby?
Yeah, I be at them thing. It's just this whole process of dehumanization that takes place inside Jamaica's penal facilities and thing or whatever. Me just give a set, me just make you know some things that I go through from early out. And sitting. Cut long story short, one brother.
So give me one of the lullaby you sing.
No man, DJ, we have a DJ. And them time, the time I sang the job, Papa Levi, my God, my king, him name Jehovah. I want to drop that. But mash up the whole of the cell, man. My God, my king, him name Jehovah. Him inspire me to be my chanter. And
hey!
Crazy
my chanter, whoa, Raka!
But hold on, but just show you, say, where we come from with the thing and whatever. So when me go all of them jail, and end up at half a 3 jail, especially when me did older after that. And that's how me really know Jamaica run, And that's how me know me sit down and hear who man tell who for bring money for get the life for pay off the judge and who and this and that's how me really know Jamaica run,
What you said?
Me say when me in a jail, me see all them lock up one youth and bring him from uptown youth and bring him coming or whatever and this and that, When me look, me say, boy, here 10 car coming in, And them said the car them come and tell it down half a chance say, yo, before you know it, they look a brown skin youth and thing come out and when I hear nothing about it,
Wow.
And the rest of where we come from get we look at it and thing like that and we have to look there now. And you wonder why the man them so obsessed with power and so obsessed with money and whatever, because of them people around Jamaica and them not really care about what go on outside, about the people they might get to. Them not
so
really
when
care.
you look at the reality, that is when you came to the reality that there was 2 Jamaica.
Listen to me, man. I have a friend named Craig. All right. All of the jail man me going on, every time I go jail, go look for people. Me never see no uptown people in there yet. I one set of people me seen there. All right. If you follow the logic with that, your only conclusion then is only ghetto people are commit crime in Jamaica. Which is absurd. It's ridiculous. So it must, me have a friend, him named Craig, him did own a Sony dealership in New Kingston. So when I lived at Worthington Towers, it was right across from the Sony dealership. And then we rob him place and I take away him money. I thief him thing them. So one day, I come down there and whatever, and this and the Craig, mad, you know, man, Craig, I said, where am I going to go and him come up here, be a shot him up a ring, you know. Me go say to Craig, no, Craig, no, I know you go through it, you know, but I don't want you think say me I defend anybody, you know, I just don't want
the violence.
And then them go say, why, it was excessive force and it was unwarranted and whatever. And I will never forget this. Craig, who happens to be Chinese, turned to me and said, Raga, for a big man, you know, so you're a effing idiot. People like me, we don't go to jail in Jamaica. People who where we live, we all know we will never go to jail in Jamaica. We know why you feel that way, but people like you go to jail. And that's the reality. But what me I say is, the shot of them see the reality there, you know. And that is why over the years, them just work with for them strength and thing and see that they move from one pop homemade gun you know to Jamaica, one of the country where import them the most terrible firearm, a big business right you know and thing and whatever, right? The man them control the shores and I run them own look immigration thing and them own custom thing and all kind of thing and whatever, right? But what I say is, as I said, there's a gradation and there's a growth in other field and whatever and thing what them are doing because them are observe what other people are doing in the country and been getting away with it and them are in other position where they have enough power and they have enough money to get away with it too because that is the paradigm that has been established when enough people don't want to talk about. So when you have these things come up now with corruption and thing, nobody is held accountable. We not get no reasonable explanation on either side. Because frankly, if somebody's targeting the Prime Minister with helps for rule. Or if the Prime Minister did do something wrong, then he must be held accountable.
Yeah.
If we don't really mean what we say about discipline and that the little thing,
accountability, good governance,
PNP or JLP and stop blame poor people for everything and get the people for everything, a scapegoat for everything. That is my issue.
Raga, today, the very first time I interacted with you, you sent me the video of the fireman,
right,
who was atop of the transport center. Raga, this man was the first in May last year to have had a demonstration to speak about the injustices that the firefighters are faced with. Raga, the man talk about you have a main hospital in Jamaica and there's no MRI machine. The man spoke about, Raga, that when the Chinese built back the structures of the road, there's no fire hydrants that can connect for water to come out of those when the firefighters need to go and do their work. Raga, when I heard that fireman today, the man is so passionate about fixing Jamaica. He's so fed up with the realities of the inconsistencies of governance in Jamaica. Raga, you heard the cry of a patriotic Jamaican today. When you heard that, what were your sentiments?
Several. The first is, and I was like, you know what is sad? You're going to have people, you know, an enabling class of people. Those are the people who enable the status quo to be maintained, sustained. Their first reaction is going to be,
Mm.
And I don't like the way that he's doing it. He could have done it a better way than that. And what example is he setting for the children? Them love to say that, you know. Them love to bring up what example he's setting for the children, going up on the building and whatever, and missing the point, right? The second thing that immediately came to me was the reason he went on top of that building must be because multiple attempts in getting something done and being heard, they were futile. They failed.
Nobody listening to him. The man said to me in confidence to them, Mr. Stevens.
Right.
Desmond Mackenzie. I don't know if there's any truth, but the argument he said was, boy, Mr. Stevens, the minister responsible for local government and my department said, get rid of Bennett. And he's interpreting, get rid of Bennett. What does that mean? Does it mean that you do away with him, fire him? The man is left with so many ambiguities, and him said, all him want to get some more equipment, you know. Him say one machine. They are between how much station in a Kingston, you know. When them come off of the site, them and the asbestos and everything, they pan them close.
Listen, let me tell you something. When I listen to him, because you know, you have your share of people who they make a lot of noise, but it's primarily generalizations, right? Right? But if you listen to that man talk, he was very specific about the issues, right? Me wrong or me right?
True.
Right? He was very specific. And the evidence that he used to support his concerns are evidence where they're easily, you know, verified or debunked, right? For example, that thing about the call centers and the fire hydrant or whatever, that is a very serious matter, you know, because he's essentially saying that this is a disaster waiting to happen. Now, do we want any fire at any of those call centers? No, we don't. And but then it's irresponsible to even say, well, the likelihood of a fire there is not. That isn't. There are protocols in place that say, given a concentration of a particular amount of people, we need a fire hydrant here or so in this building or whatever. What he is saying is that, listen, there are some standard protocols that were not adhered to.
Yes.
And that as a firefighter who is charged with the public safety, he's concerned about that. So what I'm hearing is a very articulate man. Now, somebody may listen and I say, well, in English, not totally pristine. I am one of those people like, stop the damn foolishness and whatever. Listen to the substance of what the man is saying. And everything that him point out and things like that, when point out, again, the veracity of them can be, you know, can be ascertained real easily, whether it is so or not. But to me, he was articulate, he was credible, and the concerns that he raised were very much some serious concern relative to the citizenry, to the people, right? And it's just unfortunate that rather than, you know,
yeah.
I hope that you know, that people would resist the inclination to just want to punish him and leave it there, and rather to say, you know, address the concerns that he raised and things like that. Because again, if the concern when we raised was applicable to a particular set of people in the country, it would be dealt with. It would be dealt with. I'm telling you, it would be dealt with.
So you are saying he made some serious points.
Right.
And you're saying from those points made, you have gathered if the influential sectors in society were affected by the points mentioned, they would have been dealt with.
Exactly. I don't mean to like, yeah, I don't mean to, Andre, you know, with all due respect, there was a certain man from what we refer to as the upper echelons of society who unfortunately was killed, shot and killed. You don't know if you remember. And everybody in the community said this man is a nice man and whatever. So I don't want people to misunderstand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Even my people, they must say, no, rather, I'm a real man, I will love him and thing. But when that man passed away and was killed, some people who miss to come out. Some people who miss to come out and were genuinely outraged and things like that. So I'm like, but why weren't they outraged before? When other things are happening to other people and whatever. And again, I say it, it's like, don't care what you hear most of these people say. They don't care about ghetto people. They don't care about poor people. Do you really, can you identify a transformational leader right now who really is like ideologically driven to really make a difference in a poor people's life right now? Can you identify any person, PNP, JLP, private sector, church? Can you identify anybody right now like that? Huh?
Can we identify anybody who...
Can you identify any transform? Can you identify anybody like when them talk, them ideas sound innovative and them sound real and you can feel them and you're like, listen to me, I want to be on board with this person, whether she or he or what? Can you identify anybody like that in Jamaica right now? That is not basically just saying the same thing over and over that people that everybody who play the game come and say. And then
I will say, I can identify a few. One.
I bet you them in the opposition.
Keith Duncan, who has the community program doing with the private sector organization of Jamaica, where they're doing some serious interventions.
Okay.
Auntie Donna, because she has done
Miss Donna, yes. Big up Miss Donna, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yo,
let me
finish.
finish.
More for this country than enough of them politicians that come back.
Repeat, Raga! Where is the Raga?
Miss Donna, Auntie Donna has done more, and people can quote me upon that. Auntie Donna has done more for Jamaica than many of these loud-mouthed politicians.
Repeat it again, Donna. I want to observe for here. I want one particular Chinese girl up and observe for here. Say it again, Raga.
Well, me hear about Africa there, you know.
But repeat it again, brother Raga.
Well, again, Auntie Donna, Miss Donna has done more for the Jamaican people than many of these politicians combined. And she has done it in a transparent way. Name call, this money coming, this see a video, it see the money and whatever. Proper. You understand?
Let me tell you some more transformational leader that I've met upon.
Mm-hmm.
Chief Richard Curry. Let me tell you why. I've sat with that man, I've listened to that man. I see the vision him have for the Accompany and by extension Jamaica. So that is why I can say, when I listen to him, I understand the dynamics of where he wants Jamaica to go.
Yeah, him real, you know. Him real.
Chief Richard Curry is a real one.
Him real.
Let me tell you some more real people that I have stood and sat beside. You see that youth, they were named Raymond Price. Raymond Price has been very consistent about issues of the environment and the issues surrounding ganja reformation. Remember, Raymond Price was the first MP who sat in the house and called for the decriminalization of ganja. You know, enough people don't know that. Here is another one. You see that youth that were named Damian Crawford. Big up to him. Big up to him because he has made some very unpopular pronouncements that many people in Jamaica, including his own political party, demonize him for. Damian and Raymond. To me, there are transformational people in this country, but they are stifled them hold them down, them keep them in a bandage, them lock them down, Jamaica. You understand where I'm coming from, Brother Raga? Even me stand up for many injustice in this country. But you have a lot of people who put me on cancel culture list. But here is the truth. I will continue defending the people. I'll continue talking for the people.
Right.
And I respect that the very fact that you can look at this show and say, boy, Andre, yeah, do some good things, but be careful because you know them will clappers you. Raga, me know, say enough clappers me can get. But hear what? The ancestors and elders like you are looking out for me. But you have chanted the way. Here's how you have chanted the way. When I was in high school, I remember listening to Raga Shanti and hear tambourine. That was an inspiration. Because if nobody else would speak for Jamaicans, Raga Shanti would.
But tell me something, Andre.
Yes.
I was speaking with a renowned Jamaican one time, and what if people are listening now and say, well, Andre did a chat, Raga did a chat, what's new? Well, you think they're either them is saying anything new that has not been said before, and talking doesn't accomplish anything. What's your response to that?
Raga, if we never talk, Noel Maitland wouldn't be in jail tonight, you know.
True.
Raga,
Mm-hmm.
if people weren't talking, the issue of SSL would have blown away in 7 days, you know. It kept on the media for almost 1 month. It wasn't a 9-day wonder in Jamaica. The government wouldn't have applied all of the international discourse and discussions where people think that, oh, it is happening. Raga, it was the same social media that influenced the government to change the road traffic laws, you know. Am I telling a lie? Because when Andrew see the bird them pan a Friday, which government you know pan a Friday go call emergency press conference 5 o'clock at evening to talk about shift. And this, that. Raga, it is talks like these that have kept a public sector holding up on a government, you know.
Okay.
It's talks like these that have highlighted the financial irregularities in Jamaica. It's talks like these that can open up people's eye to speak about the irregularities happening within the police force. So many people appreciate what you have set for us and what this generation has come about to do.
Okay.
Mainstream media no longer controls the narrative.
Boy, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that.
Raga, nobody now listen to Clifford, Emily, and Diane no more.
No, hold on. We you say nobody now listen to Clifford, Emily, and Diane no more. Why you say that?
Raga, go look for Cliff Views online.
Yeah.
Prime time and night time and daytime. The most him I get pan it at 2,500 in a day. And the most him I get pan it at evening time at 1,500. Just as though them a fast spam my program, me have my researchers I look pan them, you know. And I am telling you, the most Cliff Views get in a long time at 3,500 people when him a interview the firefighter today. Nobody not listening to them. Which radio station can tell you them analytics? Every month I can tell you how much people watch my program, you know. Which radio station or print media can tell you how much people really watching them? Here what them can give you cumulatively among probably estimate. Well, we can give the figures. You know the only reason why this program don't get powerful sponsorship yet, Raga, because private sector is afraid of the backlash that they might get from them government associates. But private sector needs to understand the truth that this platforms like these is worth carrying the viewership, carrying the people, and carrying the swing. So you cannot invest in our radio station and you cannot see the returns on your investment. Businessman not do them something. Businessman, look at the numbers. Numbers are important. Numbers keep the program right. No, Jamaica, by now, I should have had at least 2 or 3 or 4 powerful private sector companies backing this program. But I'm going to say to you tonight, if I change my style, who is going to defend Jamaica? Sir King, this shut up.
No, I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you. But let me just say, hold on, let me just say, and I'm not, I'm not like, appeasing and being whimsical or anything. But, and this is just my opinion, and we can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
I happen to believe that a person like Dion Jackson Miller, she has made an immense contribution to journalism. Dion has been doing this for a while,
Yes,
hold on. And she has been, resolutely consistent. And when people are like that, you know that they're functioning from standards, right? You and I, we've been involved in production, and people say the end product, but behind the scenes, what lead up to that, very often it's tough decisions, and this is missing, and this never turn up, and this and that, and you have to rehearse the thing and whatever, and then then when you come in front of camera, you have to perform it and think. But there's a lot of work that's put behind it, and then to maintain that for years and years and years that Dion has. I just wanted to, given that you made mention of her, I just want to acknowledge that. And Emily too. Emily has been, nobody's perfect. Emily has been in the business for a while. Her Ninja Man interview is now, the stuff of legend. And, so these are people that I admire, and I'm very thankful for their contribution to media. At the same time, I'm sure I'll acknowledge, and I'm sure they have to, that social media has significantly eaten away at their market share. And one of the issues that they have not resolved, Andre, is to this day Jamaica still have a problem with that. Despite some platitudes sometimes to our indigenous culture and our real Jamaicanness. But the main problem is that they don't really speak the language of the people. And when I say the language of the people, we're talking about attitude also. We're talking about what is relevant to the people, and to speak the truth and be consistent in doing so in a way. What was really disconcerting for me when after I got my doctorate and I came back and I was doing media. I was just following the original paradigm, current affairs, politics, and whatever. Say it's because them people, Dr. Stewart now, so I was accepted in certain circles. Make I tell you something, Jamaica?
Yes.
The level of hypocrisy where they want amongst them people, the bright people. So them know everybody who will do everything. Them know Jamaica is a small place, When me they run them people, and them people can't tell you who start to sell ganja, who this and that, who sell out who for wife. But say you have one man, me did that do all a joke me love run joke and whatever. And one time me I do one thing on the show, me I say, people who ever notice say, when you date a woman, you don't hear her poop early.
Like you don't hear them do what?
Them don't poop. You will date a woman for like the first 3-6 months on average, and you never hear a woman poop, and you don't smell it. Now clearly the women are pooping, but women don't make you smell them poop or hear them poop early, right? And I was just thinking about it aloud, and then I'm like, what kind of oppression women must be going through to be suppressing their poops and can't poop freely like man? And I'm like, this is sexist or whatever. But of course, it's a serious thing for me. But typical ragga, I'm making fun of it either, and at the same time, simultaneously, and think I'm being entertaining about it. So I was just like, when I need for free the woman them poop, woman need for poop freely, just like how man poop freely. Woman need not be subjected to this type of oppression where them can't poop freely and all them something or whatever. So at the time I was, you know, so I'm bossy man of Jamaica, him have a problem with it and things. So one night time that when me thing a shot, you know, and the millions are coming in, you know. Him did in a position where him have to see my check. Him go say, pass all kind of dirty remark and dip on the radio chat foolish. So one day we there one Christmas party. And him come a hypocrite up with me. And me I said, no, me no want you to say nothing to me, you know, because behind my back, you dab me up and nasty me up. And whatever, and him. And him a ray. And I said, no, I have nothing against you, you know. It was Trevor Monroe.
What?
And he said, I have nothing against you, you know, Trevor.
What you say? Professor Trevor Monroe?
No, man. So I said, I could just keep it real. If you don't like me, you don't like me. But don't come play hypocrite with me. And then he in turn said, but ragga.
Yeah, that's just it. But ragga.
You know, but why are you on? You have a PhD, you have a doctorate. You know, them all have a problem with my PhD. You have a PhD, you have a doctorate, and you're on the radio talking about flatulence. But this is what I tell you, say, these people, them just don't get it. Clearly, it was just humor. It was comedy. That is what I do, right? If I have a PhD and I want to do comedy, it's my damn business and not your PhD. You shouldn't have any problem with how much money me I make, because you now make the same amount of money when me I make. You understand what I say? At them type of something I mean I like with Jamaica, and it's still there. And
the classism. The classism.
And it's part of that it's a post-colonial reality grounded in a 400 years of them that thing that were that stratification. There were some people up there, so some people here, so some people here, so some people here. And this know your place syndrome that they advocate and they strenuously, adhere to. You must know your place, right? And that's why I tell you, say them don't care. All you hear them a chat and whatever. The mix but don't mingle principle in Jamaican socio-cultural system is strongly practiced by Jamaica's elite. And the only time them find value in our thing is when we bust it and it done shot already. When dancers come in and them start reggae song fest. I mean, Joe Bogdanovich have it now, and him make a different focus. Me like what him do and thing like that, and whatever reggae song splash and them tiny. It's like after the thing build, without for them support, at that time them coming upon it in a kind of parasitic posture, and them don't care to, but them really not care. Jamaica is still the Jamaica where when Joe and Andrea Otis said they go up on TV and the woman said, take that bumpy girl off of TV just because she have on what we in a ghetto find beautiful, which is China bump, which is something, a hairstyle will come from our ancestors. And really don't care. Them still don't care. And a lot of them talk one what he put them, the euphemism, the cliches, they wax lyrical. Them chat what if something and them sound good and sound right. But at the end of the day, they're actively involved in maintaining that same status quo that keeps certain people in a certain position, and you use
and
them.
You will see.
With the powerful. That is my issue.
Dr. Stewart.
Yeah.
King of mix-up. So you are saying one of the major things that is a deterrence in getting Jamaica on the right path is the issues of social inequality, classism, and the stereotypes.
Exactly. Well, yes. And I'm not saying anything new here. Miss Lou said it, a lot of scholars said it, Professor Siobhan said it, Professor Nettleford said it.
I've spoken about it.
Ryan Meeks, a whole bunch of people, Clinton Hutton, Professor Clinton Hutton.
Rex Nettleford speaks about the butterization.
You know what is funny? When Mr. Nettleford coined that phrase, a butu in a bench is still a butu. You know, Jamaican elite class, they appropriated the term and think that he was referring to working class people and, you know, ghetto people. And one day I was talking to Mr. Nettleford and he said, it's funny that it came out that way, you know, Mr. Stewart. It can be a little bit too formal sometimes. I mean, I call him Professor Nettleford, but, you know, he was referring to me as Dr. Stewart. So I was, I was senior, I was elder, you know, so I said, you can't call me Kingsley. I'll still call you Professor now. But he was just like, Dr. Stewart, da, 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 da. But he said that the way, when he coined it, he said he coined it for the people who think them upon the upper class.
Oh!
Right? And the upper class people thinks him did coin it for the people from the lower class who,
and
when they buy a nice car, them think them arrive and they're basically saying, you've not arrived, you're not like us. Right? Type of thing. But what he was saying is just like that a lot of people in Jamaica's elite class, they're so fake, they don't know themselves, and that emptiness that they have, they get up every day and they weaponize it against others. You understand? So Jamaica have a serious, let me tell you something. Professor Nettleford, Professor Shavans again, Professor Shavans was my mentor. He was the one who hired me at the University of the West Indies. And they have always been advocating to say, teach culture in schools. Culture is not taught in schools. It's not a priority, right? Culture is the first time I came to the United States, I worked on a summer camp in Colebrook, Connecticut. And I was in charge of some 8-year-olds. They call them the bandits. And I was amazed when I was talking to these 8-year-old kids who happened to be Jewish. They knew all their holidays. They knew what Purim mean. They knew what Yom Kippur is and whatever. And they could speak about their holidays in such ways that you could see that it was a part of who they were.
Yes.
And that, you know, it served to define them, and they have a fairly defined sense of self. You know, when they're growing where they're proud of who they are. Proud in that you can just tell that later on when they're going to face some challenges or somebody were to attack them, you know, in certain way and try to dehumanize them, they are already equipped, you know, to be resilient and to resist those attacks. We don't have that. We don't have that thing in Jamaica. There have been some attempts, you know, you hear value. There's one time when the most honorable Portia Simpson wanted to push what it was called a values and attitude program.
No, it was actually PJ Patterson.
It was PJ, but it was yes. PJ. Well, okay. Well, I remember Sister P did bring it up, but again,
but she wanted to re-establish it.
Re-establish. Let me tell you something, man. That is so, something like that is so critical and so important. But you know why they wouldn't want to do it? You cannot go down that path without having to tell the truth. You cannot go down that path without having to tell the truth about why things are the way they are in Jamaica, why values are the way they are in Jamaica. They're not ready for that conversation.
They're certainly not ready.
Jamaica, I listen to them speak. They're not ready to really identify what is really causing the crime problem in Jamaica, right? They keep it.
They have not taught us how, just as the Jews have learned about wealth and wealth creation, our children have never been taught wealth creation.